Good morning, good morning, good morning, loves. It's Freedom Friday with yours truly, Dr. K. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you guys are coming on in, come on in. I just want to say welcome. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, my sister. Do me a favor as you come on. Go ahead and like and share. Like and share. That's right. We want to share with everybody. So good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, even though it's just been since Monday. Good morning, Tish. Good morning, Deborah. Hey, Yvonne. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see we have people. Hey, Pastor Butler joining us on Facebook, on YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Remember to make sure you subscribe to the Freedom by Design movement on YouTube. We don't want you to miss it on any platform. Good morning. I see folks coming on in the room. Good morning. It is Freedom Friday. I'm happy. I'm excited. This morning, my voice wants to act a little bit, but y'all know we don't care nothing about that. We're going to press right on through. So good morning, my sisters, my brothers. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is Freedom Friday, and who the sun sets free is free indeed. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, family, I'm ready. We about to go. I don't know how long we're going to be on here this morning. It might be short, might not be short, but we're going to let him use us on this morning. So, Father God, have your way. Remove me. Anything that I might be thinking, any intentions I might have, remove them out of the way and let this word come fresh and flow through me the way you would have it to be. So good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I'm excited. Hey, Frankie, good morning, good morning. So family, I literally just got off the Guy Zone. When I say literally, I mean literally. We went all the way this morning. It was a beautiful day. It's nothing like when the spirit is moving. It's nothing like when saints are being obedient, praying for others, and just pressing on in and coming in the room. And I said, you know what, God, as I'm sitting there and I'm getting all my stuff together, I'm listening to God's Zone and I'm taking my notes and I'm reading and I'm reading the word and I'm studying. And it was just so confirming because I'm like, okay, this morning we're talking about peace. Now, I know we might say a whole lot of things about, oh, I'm not going to let them disturb my peace and all of this stuff. But this morning we're going to come right on in and we're going to see what God has to say about it. So let me ask you. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a picture person. If you follow me on social media, you know I'm always posting because I like to have a digital photo album. And it's a reason behind that. It's a reason for everything. So the reason that's behind that is I'm from Miami, Florida. I live in Atlanta now, but I went through Hurricane Andrew, Katrina, and Norma. Andrew was the year I graduated from high school. So many of my high school memories, from childhood up through that time, I ended up losing because of the way that the storm ripped through our house, like my senior pictures, all kind of stuff. My memory book, when we were in high school, you had the memory book, everybody would sign yearbooks, all of that stuff I lost. So with the advent of social media, I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and post my stuff here. So I always have a digital photo album. So in case you ever wondered, like, oh, she posts a lot. That's why I post my pictures, because I can always go back. Can't keep all that stuff in the phone. So that's just a little underlying. Now, I don't know about y'all, if y'all go back and look at pictures, if you enjoy when you get with family and you have an opportunity, if you have photo albums or those loose pictures that might be in photo boxes, and you start just going back and looking at them and just thinking about, those good times and all of that stuff. Yeah, I was, Nita. Yep, I sure was down there in the South. It was real bad. So when we're looking at photos and stuff, for me, last night I was actually in bed and my uncle, of course, you all know my Uncle Kerry passed away last week, on the 21st or a week before last, and he had this book of President Obama, and it was a book from the gentleman who was his photo person, and he captured it. And every time I would go to Miami, I would always look at that book on my uncle's table in the living room, and I'm like, I want that book. And he would just kind of give me this little grin and smile. So as I was getting stuff together, I'm like, okay, I got the Obama book now. And last night I'm looking at it, and I was just chronologically going through 8 years of his service, and you can just see the smiles. And I start to thinking about, my own pictures and going back and seeing the smiles and seeing times that I had so much peace and it was so good. And, and sometimes many of us, when we go back and we looking like, dang, in 1992, I was so happy, how do I get that back? So many of us, what we do is we go ahead and we try to plan trips. Okay, I was in Bahamas at that time, so let me go back to Bahamas because maybe I'll feel that feeling again that I felt. Or let me create this Zen space in my home so when I walk in, I'll have that peace. It'll feel good. It'll be my sanctuary. Or maybe in your office, even you got candles, you got all of this stuff set up, and you're like, I'm just going to create this aura and I don't care what might happen. But even though it is great to look back at pictures, even though we create these spaces and these sanctuaries, so to speak, we go on trips, we set the environment, we do all of this stuff. One little situation or thing can come and knock us all the way off our feet. It could be a something, it could be a someone, it could be losing someone, it can be losing a job, whatever it is. And I don't care if you're in your Zen space. I don't care if you done painted the room black, green, blue, yellow, whatever it is, your peace, you have totally been shaken by one little thing or situation where another person might be on the outside saying, okay, well, that'll be okay. You get another job. It'll be okay. You can paint your room another color, but it's not about the paint. When you're really, really, or let's even go a little bit further. Maybe somebody that you loved hurt you, or they did something, or they said something, or you were treating bad and it was unfair. I don't care how many candles you light. It's like, you know what? It's not feeling good. So this morning when I was reading, I said, okay, Lord, how do we get past that? And he said, well, just turn to Philippians 4:6-7, which says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. And I'm like, Lord, really? When they do something to me in that moment, I have to do that? And he was like, absolutely, yeah. So that means I'm opening myself up to forgiveness. He said, but don't you want your peace? Don't you want to protect your peace? He was like, because I don't care how many candles you buy. I don't care how many coats of paint you put in the room. It's not going to give you the peace that only I can give. I said, okay, Jesus, I got that. I'm hearing you. I understand, what it looks like. And he said, at the end of the day, I am the only source of peace. I'm your source of peace. So you're going to have to come through this door right here in order to get it, in order to sustain it. It's not about people. It's not about the friends. It's not about the house, the cars, all of the stuff that you've accumulated. It ain't about none of that. Your peace is going to come from me. And I started thinking about that as me and Jesus was having this talk this morning. And I said, in some of the situations where I have had way less than I have now, I have been at peace. Might not have had a lot, but hey, I was happy. I was feeling good. And he was like, and your relationship with me was different at that time. So stop looking back at those pictures and saying, oh, well, was it this friend that I'm missing? Oh, is it this place I need to go to? Oh, was it this thing that I had? Was it a black car? Was it a blue car? What do I need to change? Do I need to paint my house? He's saying, no, it's not about the stuff, what was missing or what is missing. And I want y'all to reflect and look back. It's all about him. It's about where he was in your life and what you were doing with him. It's about the position that he held in your life. It's about where you were at that time. And I said, okay, I get it, Lord. You said when we are stressed, we need to pray. When we are mad, we need to pray. When we get anxious, we need to pray. He said about everything. I don't care how big it is, how small it is, because you will get to a point that when the winds of the world come and they try to knock you off, you still will be able to stand because my peace will be there, because I'm never going to leave you. I'll never forsake you. As long as you walk with me, I'm abiding in you. I'm there regardless of what's going on. So I said, okay, I get it. I was like, okay, well, what about my friends? Can I call them? He was like, listen, you're going to have to tell some folks, while you might have some praying friends, everybody in the world don't have praying friends. Some of us so busy calling people to get the tea when we need to be calling to talk about the peace. So forget about the tea. Y'all gonna have to put your tea down, and y'all gonna have to make sure you got them friends that can help you with your peace. And with that being said, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was like, Lord, even in praying, sometimes it's tough, because I myself have been at a low point where I couldn't even, believe it or not, I couldn't even pray. I couldn't get the words out. I had to have a friend of mine, a true friend, when I say it, my sister. She had to help me to pray. I was at a point that low in the situation. And I said, I promised God, I said, God, I can't ever allow a situation to occupy that kind of space in my life, because that's your place. You dwell right here. I can't do that anymore, that I forget how to pray. And that's the importance of having a true inner circle. So when you call in your friends, if all you can talk about is the tea, if all you can talk about is the latest, the greatest, the gossip, and you ain't got nobody to pray with you and for you, them the wrong friends. You got to change your circle. But that's a whole nother message. That's not today. We'll get into it at another time. So I said, okay, God, what does this thing look like? What does this thing feel like? And he says, when you think about what peace is and me being your source, he said, and let's look at the meaning of it. The word peace means in a spirit that is calm, quiet, and restful. When you look at yourself, does that reflect you? I don't care what's going on around you. I don't care how much noise is going on around you. When you are at any day, at any situation, in anything, is your inner spirit calm and quiet? If people get crazy and anxious and things start going crazy, do you jump up and you start getting crazy and anxious with it? Do you meet them where they are, or do you remain calm? Because it's a peace. What do people say? Like, oh my God, I can't tell her because she might go crazy. Or, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and talk to her because, you know what? It's the peace in me. We can deal with it. Whatever it is, we'll address it. Again, rhetorical question. You have to just self-check and see what's going on with you. When we resist God, that's when our inner peace goes crazy. That's when we have guilt, anxiety, restlessness, spiritual and emotional pain. How do I know? Because I've been there. When I can't sleep, and one or two things is happening. Either I'm not in alignment with him, or he is trying to tell me something and I have to go and get into my closet and pray. When my peace is all off, when any little thing can disturb me, when I'm holding and harboring things, that's when I know I got to do better. And somebody asked me yesterday, we were talking, and I think it either yesterday or the day before, because I prayed for the person, and they were just talking, and it sounds so familiar. And I was over here like, oh, God, I remember when you took me through this. You took me through this so I can help this person. And I listened to them, and then I was able to share my testimony. And at the end of it, I was able to pray with the person. And they said, you know what? Thank you so much, because I didn't even have the words. And that thing hit me like a brick. I'm like, because I remember when I didn't have the words, and I'm a praying woman. I know how to pray if I don't know how to do anything else, but I could not pray in that season of my life. Yes, Shanita, when we resist God, peace is disrupted. It totally is. And we're wondering why, because we out in the world trying to do everything that we think we can do. And he is saying, I'm going to sit back over here and I'm going to watch you do it. If you think you can do it, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch you do it. But we can't do it. We always fail when we try to do it our own way. And I said, okay, God, well, what about in Isaiah 57:21? He says, the wicked are like troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters are cast up mire and dirt. There's no peace, says my God, for the wicked. So we got to reflect. We got to see, what role am I playing in it? Am I the wicked, or am I in alignment with him? Do I need to just make some kind of slight shift and get myself back on? Because guess what? Troubles are going to come. It's wicked people all around the world. So don't think that just because you say, yes, I surrender, everything is going to be okay and you're not going to have trouble. You will, but how you deal with trouble will look very different. And I was like, okay, Lord, give us an example. And he was like, well, what about when I was in the boat with the disciples and the storms were raging, the waters were raging, and they were going crazy, and I'm down there sleeping. And they were like, how can you sleep? And he's like, well, did you forget who you with? And that's for us. Do we forget who dwells and lives in us, who walks with us? We don't have to be anxious. We don't have to worry about all of the things that's going on in the world. All we got to do is give it to him. All we have to do is release it to him. So stop trying to hold on to it. You know, so many of us are like, well, it's just too much going on around me. I need to get in a quiet place and space. And God is saying you can have quiet in the midst of a football stadium. You can have quiet in the midst of the parade. You can have quiet wherever. That's on the inside. He says, because the real problem is not the noise around us. So many of us feel like, oh, it's just so much confusion and it's so many distractions and it's so much pulling. And God keeps saying to us, stop getting so easily distracted. If you are in alignment with me, if your core is centered and you're vertically aligned, the horizontal playing field looks very different. It's not the noise around you. It's the noise between you and him. It's the noise between you and him that's creating the problem, family. So if that noise is there and you're like, I don't understand, you got to get in a quiet place and space with you and God. You got to work on that relationship. Stop blaming it on everybody else. And I know y'all probably was like, oh, she gonna tell us what we can blame them. I'm not going to tell you that you can blame him, because when he gave me this right here, I thought I was exposing other people, but he exposed me. He showed me. The problem wasn't the noise around you, Dr. K. The problem was the noise in between you and me. And you can plug your name into it, whoever you are. What is the problem? I don't know. God is saying, hey, is it you? It's not the noise. It's the noise between us. So we're going to have to make sure we come to a place where we can eliminate the noise, and he gives us the ability to eliminate the noise. God offers us, guess what? He offers to change our heart. He ain't saying he's changing every situation, that he's changing every circumstance. In some cases, he will, but he's changing our heart. So it makes us look different, look at situations in a different manner. We're not so angry when a person comes in and they say something about us. We're not so angry when a coworker does something that makes us look bad. We're not so angry when a family member says something and we know it's not true. We're not so angry when our child goes off the beaten path. We're not so angry when our spouse does something that's contradictory to what we're supposed to be doing. We don't get angry because guess what? God has my heart. He's working on my heart. He's doing a new thing in me. I can't control what everybody else is doing, but my peace comes from him. So when I'm walking and you see the confusion around me, but you see me walking and I'm looking like I'm on a Spike Lee movie because I'm kind of almost levitating and I'm just moving through. That isn't the world. That isn't a Trina thing. That's not a Dr. K thing. That's a God thing. He is doing that thing because he is my source of peace. And I said, okay, God, I got you. I understand. It's about our heart. It's about reflection. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of you all I talk to, you inbox me, you DM me, please. I'm always going to keep it 100 with you. And I tell God, thank you that in this season of my life that I don't have no problem telling any person what God says. I have no problem with being obedient, and I'm going to sleep well and I'm going to move well. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to love on you, but I'm going to tell you what he says, because so many of us get used to doing this thing right here. We pointing and we saying they trying to rob me of my peace. No, you letting your peace be robbed when you don't get yourself in alignment with the relationship. It ain't that noise. It's the noise between you and him. So stop saying it's the noise around you. I need to go on a trip. I need to go on a vacation. Trips and vacations are great. Y'all know I love me a beach. Y'all know I love to go travel, but it's not a refuge from my everyday life. If things ain't in alignment at my house, they surely aren't going to be alignment in some tropical resort and island. If things aren't in alignment or things aren't going well, if my peace is shaken in my mind, it doesn't matter where I am. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. The world will give you temporary situations that make you feel like, oh, that made me feel better. I got a new car, I feel better. I got a new house, I feel better. I got a new boo, I feel better. I got a new job, I feel better for a moment, but it's coming back. If you don't have God in your heart, if he is not changing your heart, it's all temporary. It's just for a little bit of time. I don't want peace for a little bit of time. I want peace that no man, no woman, no boy, no girl, no spirit can't take from me, because I know my source. I know who I get it from. I know who gives it to me. So I ain't gonna allow anybody else to take it. And I said, okay, God, I understand what you're saying. He said, yeah, some of us are in a position where we're going to have to release some stuff. How about that? And I know many of you out there are familiar with that word. We want to hold on to a lot of things. We want to keep it on in. We want to say, God, I want peace, but I ain't going to forgive them. God, I want peace, but if they come for me, I'm ready. And he's saying that's not peace, because you're preparing yourself to go toe to toe with somebody in the world. No, we're going to have to release some stuff. And yeah, everybody ain't like you. Everybody ain't thinking like you. We're all on different paths, on different walks. Stop expecting people to handle situations like you. And you're saying, I don't understand why my peace is shaking. It's shaking because you're trying to make them be you. They're not you. They're not going to handle it your way. You at a different point in your life. So you got to understand what it means to you. When peace means more than the foolishness around you and having stuff, you'll make different decisions. You'll move differently. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. That's right. Charlie, you said it. It may be noise around you, but it won't be in you. People will be looking at you like, how'd you do that? How did that happen? I don't understand. And I see you. Come on. Yes, we got to let go and we got to let him. Some of us are holding things. And I'm so grateful for my sister Shanita, because she's a part of my inner circle, and I'm always going to be transparent. It doesn't matter, because God says I have to be. When I had a situation and I was like, I'm sharing with my inner circles, and I'm like, I don't understand, and everybody had a word. And my sister Shanita said, hey, you going to have to go back and get quiet. You're going to have to do some self-reflection. You're going to have to do a thing. You're going to have to release that thing. And I'm like, I already released it. It was 2 weeks later when God said, now, here we go. And I said, oh, and I had to call my sister and be obedient and say, you know what? I didn't release it. I didn't. I hadn't released it. I was still holding it. And she said, I'm glad. I'm so excited. And that's as much of our conversation as I can share. But we got to be honest about where we are. Now, when I was in my studies this morning, and I was in that same, I was looking at that same scripture, Philippians 4, 6-7, I started reading one of the things that was written in my Bible, and it made me think about my testimony. It talked about contentment and not resentment. And when we have his peace, we'll learn how to have that contentment in him, not us, but in him. My Uncle Kerry passed away, as I said, on October the 21st. And my uncle was like my father. So it was that extent. People are like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah, if you know me, then you would know that. But he was more of a father figure to me than he was an uncle. And in some seasons, he was a brother to me. He served so many roles, and I tell God, thank you. I thought about yesterday, I was driving when I was in a car accident. I was in a head-on car accident. When I opened my eyes, I saw 3 people. I saw my mama, I saw my stepdad, and I saw my Uncle Kerry right there. Because by all purposes, I should not have been here today as a result of that head-on collision. But when I opened my eyes, he was there. And, we talked over the last few years, getting his affairs in order and doing everything and making sure it was lined up. And as we were doing that, there were some times that when I was with him, my front was always good. God knew my heart, and God was like, I got you. You are ready for this. And I'm like, are you sure? And I had to pray and say, God, is this my assignment? And he said, this is your assignment. This is your assignment. You got this. And I said, okay. I'm good. And he said, in this situation, I got you ready. So I was there. Me and my Uncle Kerry, we were partners in it. As he was dealing with certain issues and things, I was right there with him. We were going through it. I would pray first and do what I needed to do. So when he passed, I was in Miami a week. I left, came home because in my mind, I was like, okay, everything is ready. We had a plan in place. He was going to be able to transition home within the next day or two, and I would come back the following week. It didn't work that way. A day and a half later, I got a phone call in the morning, my husband and my uncle was gone. Now, I won't tell you that I didn't cry. I won't tell you that I didn't lose it right in that moment. And then I got myself back together. And I won't tell you that I still didn't have breakdowns because I am human. I am very much human. I'm flesh. This is real. So I do miss my uncle, but I had peace in the midst of it. I still have peace. I still shed tears every day, but there's a peace in me because I understand that God will not make mistakes. He does not make mistakes. He has done everything he needed to do. Everything that my uncle was supposed to do in his lifetime, in his 58 years of life, he did it. Every person he was supposed to impact and touch, he did it. Everything that went on, he was fine. And his words to me was, baby, I live my life. I've done everything that I wanted to do and that I needed to do. It is well with my soul. I knew my uncle had peace. And I knew who lives and resides in me. So why would I not have peace? It would be selfish of me to want him to be here suffering. Why would I do that? I know the pain and only a fraction of what he was going through. I don't want that for him. And God is saying, yes, my love, that is what it is. And I want to read this to you as I get ready to close. It says, contentment comes in knowing that God has called you and me to a higher purpose, and that he shall equip us to complete that work. So no matter what it is, he is within us. He has equipped my uncle to do the work that he needed to do. He has equipped you and I to do the work that you and I need to do. So we don't have to worry about anything else. As long as we are centered, as long as he's residing in our hearts, it's all well. We all have a time and a place for everything, every situation. And God, that's what God tells me all the time. He's like, everything that happened, I orchestrated it. I knew it was a surprise to you, but not me. That's why you can't let things rob you of your peace. You're not a fortune teller. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know God is not going to leave you in it. You know he'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. He's always going to give you adequate provision. If he said, this is what you're supposed to be doing, this is where you're supposed to be, he's going to give you adequate provision to finish the race, to do what you need to do. Family, that's my word for this morning. Don't let anybody rob you of your peace, because guess what? They can't give you your peace. Your peace comes from him. It comes from that relationship. And if you don't have that relationship right now, I extend it to you. All you have to do is say, Lord, I know that I have sinned. I don't want to live this way anymore. I want you in my life, Lord Jesus. Come in and have your way in this vessel right here, right now. I turn it all over to you, God. And it's just that simple. Family, I love you. I pray that you have a fantastic day. I know that here in Atlanta, we're celebrating the Braves and the World Series. So if you're going to the parade, I hope you already left by now and you're just watching me on YouTube or Facebook Live. But I also wanted to remind you guys, we have the Freedom by Design 5th Annual Vision Board Party. Tickets are available. You see right here. Thank you, Shanita. You see the tickets. You can purchase them from www.freedombydesign1.com. It is limited space. I want to make sure I'm clear. It's limited space. And you see who the speakers are. Guest speakers, myself, Dr. K, and Dr. Rocks. That sister is always on fire. She's going to have a mighty word. So I'm excited. Tickets are limited. It's going to be a very intimate event. And those tickets are $35. They include everything you need. All you have to do is walk in and come. It's going to be December the 5th from 3 to 5. I know we might go over, but I said it 3 to 5 to give us time. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be a different experience. So I'm excited about it. Yes, we are going to feed you. We are going to have a good time in the Lord, because he's going to be in there. Anything that we do, you don't have to ask. He's always going to be in it. So I'm excited about setting the atmosphere for us to truly look at, what it is that God is saying for us as we're moving and getting ready to transition into 2022. With that being said, family, I love you. I look forward to seeing you on Motivation Monday. So, hey, make sure you stay plugged in and get quiet with him. Talk to him. I promise you, he's waiting on you. I love you, family. God bless you, and bye-bye.